Hey, today I'm going to talk about something that's really common for most people in terms of the reasons why they're stuck, that they're not happy, they're not getting what they want, they're not fulfilled in life, so on and so forth. And that is that you're caring about the wrong things. And everyone's done this to some degree. I've done it for many, many years. We're caring about the wrong things, and we're spending a lot of our energy and time, whether we realize it or not, subconsciously, unconsciously, spending time and energy worrying about things that don't pertain to us, things that we don't control, things that ultimately have no bearing on our daily lives, have a bearing on what we want, have a bearing on the things that we're trying to accomplish, to attain, down to setting goals, what you want to accomplish. There is a level that you have to detach, and you can't care about the result. So, maybe that's number one, and this is in no particular order. Caring about the thing that you can't control, which is what ultimately is going to happen when you do the thing that you're doing or putting your effort forth with. And so I'll give you like a personal story for me. When I started my own business back 12 years ago, I was doing therapy at the time. So I was seeing clients during the day at the hospital I worked at. And I started my own business by seeing clients after work a couple days a week. And the only way that I could do that, in essence, was I had to put myself in position to be found, basically, right? So there's different ways that you do that. You can get on a directory, which is real common. I did a lot of writing and writing blog posts. And I also did videos, which you can actually find on this channel. It's just been a long time. And I haven't watched them in forever. But anyway, the more that I cared about what people thought of me, the more mind chatter and the more interference I had, right? Or I should probably save that one for later. Let's stick with the one where we're like, hey, let's say in this example, like, yeah, I'm getting a client. The more I thought about getting clients, the more that I didn't, if that makes sense. The more that I was attached to the result of my actions, the harder it was to do the thing that I was trying to do, right? So, and when I didn't, it got easier. So all I really had to do was, ultimately, aside from taking the risk of starting my own business, was get myself out there and start producing, content, start writing, get on a directory, tell people about services that I offered. The more that I did that, the easier it was for me to get people who found me and would ultimately become a client for my therapy practice. Okay, so when we're over fixated and we are over reliant on the result, we're over reliant on the outcome of our efforts, it's going to make it very difficult to see kind of past that, right? Like the bigger picture. Because there has to be this phase, there's got to be this time in our life, there's got to be, or in this process, rather, where we're trying new things, or we're putting ourselves in position to be seen or be noticed by, in this case, potential clients or customers, right? And you can't get around that, right? And sometimes people are going to affiliate with what you're putting out there, and sometimes they're not. And there's zero people who have just hit it right on the head. Maybe there's people who they're really good at what they do, and maybe they are, kind of like the rare person who can kind of like skyrocket, and that's fine. But the vast majority of people, like, you are going to go through a process where you're going to not see great results, right? And I wouldn't, and my best that I could. I was like, sometimes you're just disappointed, and just to stick consistent with caring about the thing that really matters. And what really matters is the intention, right? The thing you're valuing, the overall process, the overall, like, I'm moving in a direction, so I'm starting my own business, I'm moving in a direction, and I know and I accept that there's going to be ups and downs in that. And so that's probably the first one. Stop caring about the result the best that you can. And the number two thing that most people care about, and they're caring about the wrong thing, is they're caring about what other people think. And everyone to some degree can relate to this, because human beings are wired naturally to want to be liked and accepted, right? We're tribal beings. And so it's in our best interests and our biological structure and how we're wired to get people to like and accept us. And there's nothing you can do about that part of being a human being. Like, you're a human being. Like, I want to treat people kindly. I want to treat people well. I want them to appreciate the things that I'm doing and the ways that I'm interacting with them, right? That's fine. But it's this attachment and caring so much about what other people think of you, in terms of that you are attaching what you're doing with who you are, right? So it's like, I'm creating this video, right? And if I attach how much you like this video to me, like, I can't control that, and I don't want to be worrying about that, because I am not you, right? So you're going to either, like, be affiliated with this video and like this video, or not, or you're somewhere in between, which is, I can't worry about that, right? And so I don't want to care about that, right? I want to be able to healthily detach. So there is this difference where we're separating the self from what I'm creating and what I'm doing. Like, it's just my outward expression, right? It's not actually me. It's normal to have this hyperfixation on what people see you as and judge you as, because, again, even if you are, like, expressing from the heart, or you're being vulnerable, you want people to accept you, because it feels like that's a part of you expressing. But when we care about that to the point that we're attaching, that's when we're going to have issues, right? We're going to stay stuck. We're going to be allowing those things to dictate our mood, and so on. And so we want to be able to care about what matters, which is, ultimately, I have to know the value for myself, right? Like, I have to know the value of what I am putting out there, in terms of, in this case, like, how I'm helping people, how I'm coaching, right? If I'm not in alignment with that value, then nothing else matters, because then I'm naturally going to be dependent and reliant and care about the value that you put on what I'm doing, right? And that's a misalignment, and it's not going to be serving me, or ultimately, serving the people that I'm trying to help, right? So, and this applies to all different types of and areas of life. So I think those are the two main ones. I'm kind of just making this video here, and kind of just coming from kind of where my mind's taking me with this topic. There might be more than two, but I think that at least in my experience, like, that's been the two main things. It's like, if I'm caring about the result, and I'm caring about what other people think about me, in terms of how I'm producing or creating, or I'm expressing, like, that's going to get in the way. And again, I did talk about the other one at the beginning, which is, like, if I'm caring about things that just don't directly pertain to me, which you get caught up in the news and all that, like, how that affects me. But those two main things, the result and what other people think of me, are going to get more so in the way of like, if you have any expressive, creative goals like that, or you're trying to make changes, or you're trying to get out of a stuck point or a rut. And you know, it from a creative point of view, you know, you're we're talking about things like writer's block, creative block, um, being clear, but like just from a standpoint of you know staying focused on what I'm trying to do on a day in and day out basis, like just trying to stay, you know, disciplined and in some type of routine that serves me. And you know, if you have a family, I do. I have a family, so like how that serves them. Like I really want to focus in and give my attention and care about the things that matter. And I'll probably even do another video on this because there's just, as I'm talking about, there's just a lot. There's a lot there. So yeah, I'll do a follow up at some point, and kind of get into this a little more too, because I do think that it's something that most people deal with, and it's probably, you know, societal thing, and it's hurting more than just, you know, individuals. It's kind of hurting us collectively. So giving our focus and attention on what really matters instead of the things that we ultimately cannot control. So I should have done the introduction at the beginning. I didn't. My name's John. I'm a coach. I'm a former therapist. And yeah, basically I'm helping people get more out of life, what they want, help them get unstuck, and help them live more of a life that they desire. So I got my website link in the link below, and you can check that out if you need to or if you want. And hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks.